Let's call this meeting to order. Let's take attendance. James LeBlanc is here. Tony Raposo. Lisa Castelli is absent. Hillary Lima.
Here.
Michael Sakosha. Kevin Snow is absent. Michael Beard is absent. Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item 4, review of emergency evacuation plan. Exit out the rear doors to the left or the right. Agenda item number 5, approval of minutes. Votes may be taken for September 22nd, 2022. The date is actually incorrect on the agenda, so we are going to put this off until our next meeting, as the minutes are September 14th.
What's the date of the next sewer subcommittee meeting?
Be the second Tuesday next month.
Wednesday.
Sorry, yeah. So it would be September 13th. Yep.
Motion to continue the meeting minutes of September 14th, 2022 or to September 15th, 2023.
We have a first, we have a second. Roll call vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Agenda item number 6, sewer tie-in applications. Sewer application for Dragon Ventures LLC, Assessors Plat 38, Lot 176. This is for 577 Tioga Ave, the building that Dragon Palace is in. Who is here this evening to speak on this sewer tie-in?
Steve Andrus from Commonwealth Engineers and Consultants. He's going to present the project.
Good evening, Steve. If you could just let us know about this application.
When the force main was installed, that runs past the property on Tioga Avenue, they'd left the tie-in with a valve on it at the street. So we worked with, we've submitted to the town, we submitted to the West Warwick Sewer Authority. We were back and forth with the West Warwick Sewer Authority. We met all of their criteria as best we could. We did request some variances from them, and we had a meeting with Jeff from the superintendent over at the plant, and he agreed with us and issued the permit to tie in for them. So the tie-in includes, there's a total of 5 units on the second floor, and there's 3 on the first floor. The majority of the first floor being Dragon Ventures, Dragon Palace. And there's a vape shop and a healthy shake shop. And then there's 3 offices, a yoga studio and a hair salon on the second floor. So we're going to replace the grease trap, install a new pump. We're also tying in, there's 2 one-bedroom cabins that are in the back. And so everything will tie into a pump system located in the backyard and pump up to the existing force main street.
All right, great.
It's about 2,125 gallons a day, I believe, is the average, and that's taken from the Kent County Water Authority's meter readings from 2007 to 2017 to 2021.
All right, great. Thank you. Mr. Levesque, do you have any questions, issues with this tie-in?
It's acceptable to the town.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve this sewer application?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a first and a second. Any discussion? Any questions for Mr. Levesque? For Steve? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote here. Hillary Lima?
Aye.
Michael Sakosha? Tony? And James LeBlanc, aye. The sewer application has passed. Thank you. Agenda item number 7, new business, sewer rate increase. I believe Laura Marcolini, going to speak on this. Could come to the podium. Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Hello, yeah. Okay, so I think before you, there's a draft resolution of the town council to adjust the West Warwick sewer user fee by $1.89 per 100 cubic feet, and to adjust the Coventry user fee upwards to $6.77 per 100 cubic feet. The rates in the system, the town system, I just found out, are actually multiplied. The actual rates in the revenue reports are multiplied by a factor of 0.8 because the usage, the actual usage that pulls in off of meter data or Kent County water data cannot be adjusted by the 0.8 factor. So the rate is actually adjusted by that factor. So the $6.77 that we're recommending is actually before the 0.8 multiplier. Yes, okay. So I know that's confusing. Do you have any questions on that?
So could you just let us know what the current rates are?
The current rate, the Coventry sewer use rate is $5.10 for, in the report, the annual report for 2022 is $5.10. And if you multiply that rate by 0.80, you get $4.08. And that's what's shown on the revenue reports as the rate, $4.08 per 100 cubic feet.
And when you say revenue reports, are you talking about the bills that go out to homeowners that are connected?
No, the sewer fund report.
Okay. Sorry.
Off the meter readings?
So it's the actual meter reading. And then the rate is $5.10 multiplied by 0.8, which equates to $4.08 per
Okay.
100 cubic feet.
Got it. And what is the West Warwick current rate?
The West Warwick rate. No worries. So I believe that this year West Warwick increased from the Warwick rate increases from $5.68 per 100 cubic feet to $6.08 per 100 cubic feet. And $4.65 of that goes to West Warwick. And then Coventry takes the difference between the two.
Do you happen to have all this information? I just feel like you're throwing out a lot of numbers, and there's factors involved. And
Mhm.
I was just trying to understand what, like, a bill that goes out to a current homeowner that is connected. To my knowledge, when Coventry sends out a bill, it actually lets the homeowner know what the rate is for West Warwick and what the rate is for Coventry.
Yeah.
I was trying to get what that currently is.
As of
I know
right
you,
now,
I think you
today.
said 568, but then
I think it's $6.08.
yep. Okay.
But that $1.43 was, the resolution was dated 2020.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 2020. 2023. Sorry, I'm sorry, 2020 was the last
That's why they want to
resolution.
increase it.
But that,
$6.77.
yeah,
So that they can cover the $4.65 plus the $1.43 add-on to get to the 608. And that's why we want to bill out the 677 so we can cover that 608, if I'm understanding everything that's
the 677 is what we're recommending the Coventry user fee be increased
correct.
to
Yep,
from the $5.10
correct.
currently. That's a 66% increase.
Right.
And then we, based on the data that we had, it looked like the Warwick rate was lower, but that's been increased this year. So we have reports going back to 2020, 21.
Westmore.
West Warwick.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry.
Mm.
So West Warwick, sorry. So long story short, in 2023, as of today, that rate for the West Warwick portion of the bill is $6.08 per 100 cubic feet. Of that $6.08, $4.65 is actually paid out to West Warwick.
So the 465 is actually paid out to West Warwick, but then I heard there was a $1.43 add-on. Where is that?
That was
Does that get paid out to West Warwick as well?
No,
Got it. Okay. So if we're only paying out 465 and we're currently being asked to increase to $6.77.
no, there's two different. So there's a draft resolution. It's got two different numbers. The first number says now therefore it be resolved that add on to West Warwick user fee, residential and non-residential, it says $1.89 per 100 cubic feet.
I see that.
Okay. So the 2020 resolution had a value of $1.43
Got it.
in place of that.
Got it.
And that was not actually enacted or pulled forward, if you will. But as of now, or as of today, that rate, that $6.08 for the 2023 rate would reflect that.
Got it. Okay. I appreciate the clarification there.
Okay.
Do you happen to have any financial statements for the current sewer fund?
No,
What they look like, P&L, balance sheet?
no, I do not.
Okay. So we are going off of Ref Telus letting us know that in their report, they are recommending a 66% increase in FY 2024, a 20% increase in FY 2025, and then it says approximately 1% annually thereafter.
That's if no projects were to be brought forward as far as extensions go or new service.
Status quo.
Right.
Okay. And
Right,
then,
so that just doesn't, excuse me, there's no capital involved in that. So there's no capital expenses
Correct.
included.
No
No new
new
tie-ins, no new
projects,
projects.
no tie-ins.
yep, status
Correct.
quo.
Because the assumption is that as you're adding more users and tie-ins, it would help to pay for
pay
that
off.
system that you're constructing. So this is just to pay for the current system that you have.
Understood, but they also send out bills for assessments, which also is supposed to pay for the construction as well. And then this analysis does or does not include the potential $2 million that the town might get.
Does not.
Does not include the
It's a
$2 million.
zero beginning balance with the 66% suggested rate increase on Coventry's.
Got it.
And part of the reason for that, Mr. Chairman, is that the bills normally go out the first to second week in September. And we decided not to buoy it by that because the likelihood that that comes through by then our rate would automatically be off if it didn't come in.
Got it. And Ms. Hool, are these bills billed quarterly or monthly? Anyway. So hypothetically here, let's just say that we don't do anything tonight and you send out a bill, does the town have the ability to send out a special bill during the year? And it would be a nightmare. Why? Got it. But hypothetically, it would be possible. Okay. Sure.
On average, what does this work out to be per household? As a dollar amount increase on average?
Per 100. Mhm.
Wait, what? Huh?
So we're not really talking a 66% increase.
It's less than
Oh, yeah, it's a little over, I'm at 32%, 33%.
Yeah, it's because the change is $1.67.
Yeah,
So if you take that over the 510, it's 32 and
Yeah.
change.
How does that translate to 2020, following year, 2024? Is 2024, you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying Reptelis is saying that it's a 20% increase in FY 2025.
Right, sorry.
It's all good. But I don't know what the rate would be, so I don't know if we can actually calculate it tonight.
What if you kept it the same for this year and then you get the adjustment for next year's sewer bills? And then the increase next year would be less.
Well, what my problem is Raftelis is saying 66 in FY 24, 20 in FY 25, and then 1% thereafter. But why can't we shift some of the 66 to
but
the
we
1%
also just said
thereafter,
it's
some of
not
the 20% to,
It's not
thereafter.
66 now, it's only 32%.
well, I'm reading off the report that Raftelis has
Gotcha.
given me. They said 66 in FY 24, 20 in FY 25 is what Raftelis said. So these are double digit increases. And I don't know why we would have double digit in FY 24, double digit in 25, and then just drop it down to 1 thereafter. Like, why couldn't we move some more of that percentage to subsequent years is my point. That's all.
Might be able to answer some of that for you. So, so the higher increase in the fiscal year 2024 was recommended because we had shown the sewer extension project for planning area 9, 9, and then 8 was going to piggyback on the back end of that. So 9 first and then 8. And that, I believe, was $15 million capital expenditure over a period of 3 or 4 years. So if that shifts out, then that capital. It doesn't have to be paid for, but a project may come forward in its place. Not the full 15 million, but at least a portion of that, the extension out to Reservoir Road and
Understood.
Tyoke Ave. So it could be a different split, if you will. But like Monique was saying, 677 per 100 for the Coventry rate is not 66% on top of the current rate, if the current rate is $5.10.
I understand. I would love to know this, the detail behind their calculation. Ref, tell us. And I don't know if we have that, how they got to the
It's-
66.
It's in the financial sustainability plan within the facility plan document.
Do we have that in front of us tonight?
No, we have it with us though.
Right. Again, it would be helpful information for me to at least see.
I
to
think
be able to-
that's the section of the facilities plan that you have in your packet.
That's why I was asking. Do you know what page it would be on? The detail on the calculation for the 66? Because I'm not seeing it.
The fiscal stability plan starts on page 74.
I'm just asking how they calculated the 66%.
Yeah,
This,
it looks like this,
I
But-
see it.
Yeah, it's not,
but it's not
showing
all
how it
the numbers that
aligns.
are behind it. is
Yeah.
that-
okay.
That's
There's
what I
no
was looking for.
spreadsheets
Yep,
that go
I
along with that.
would just like clarification on how they're calculating that 66%. For me, I don't have enough financial information to make a vote on a 66% or a 32%. There's a lot of information. I would love to see a bill, what it currently looks like and what the bill would look like after this change, whatever the rates may be. I would also like to know a couple different options. If we did a 20% increase, if we did a 30% this year, what that would look like for the sewer fund itself. I would also like to know, in my opinion, I do believe the sewer fund's going to get over $1 million from the Center of New England finalized litigation. So what would that look like, and what would the fiscal need be for the sewer fund? So I personally have a lot of questions, but certainly we can make a motion if anybody on the board is interested for the increase.
I do think though, we also need to see on writing in a packet ahead of time, because
Yep.
it kind of bugs me that we didn't get any information until we just sat down here, and this is a huge financial decision. And we talked about nightmares, like that's a nightmare for me to make a decision this big on just sitting and looking at this tonight for my constituents anyway. I do think there needs to be a document that states what the anticipated or average impact would be per household value. Like I know that we mentioned it verbally, but I think having it in an advertised packet is important. One that people can look through
So
personally.
we did do that during the open house, and I believe also at the public hearing associated with the facility plan. So, if we need that in a
I get that,
flyer-
but the council hasn't even approved this plan yet. So it's like we're kind of making a decision about a piece of the plan before the entire thing has been agreed upon by the council.
Yeah, and if I may, you're correct. And I think part of it is the timing. We anticipated that we would have the facilities plan, not the ban, back from DEM a couple months ago.
Yeah, July.
And then, unfortunately, they're swamped with ours and several others. And then when it came to our attention that the bills needed to go out sooner than the plan would be approved, we scrambled to get this in front of you.
Yeah.
So that being said, go ahead.
When was the last time?
There was a resolution in 2020, September of 2020, the Coventry fee went up to $5.10 from $3.40.
And when did we implement the resolution from 2020
September
or 2020?
of 2020.
Mhm. I agree.
But if this data
But
gets
the-
in, it's 66%. It's not,
50.
it's really
The sewer-
32%.
It's just, that's a big discrepancy
Right.
to take like a wing and a prayer on between, we have a third party company telling us 66%, but then we're being told, no, it's really 32%. That's a big,
So we know they know we need to call it 77 cents. They would base it at $4.08.
So
But that just leads me down a path of what
That-
else is incorrect in their
yeah,
plan.
what else are they not basing?
Percentage of increase.
It's still concerning they didn't have the right starting point, though.
How much?
so the sewer
A lot.
So the sewer fund has been operating in the red
Mhm.
by a certain dollar value, right?
Mhm.
300, maybe this year, maybe 400 or 450,000. Is that correct? We don't
That's
know.
what
We don't
and
know that
that's
yet.
one of the pieces of information that I'm asking for.
And I
don't think-
believe the revenues have been about 1.5 million.
I don't
at
think
least.
anyone here is saying no increase. I think we just want to know that we're doing the correct increase.
Right.
I think what Laura and Monique are trying to say is to determine how much we need, they're actually taking what the actual cost is and then figuring out how that gets translated into the rate, as opposed to looking at, just a percentage increase. So they're actually basing the recommended rate, although the percentage of increase may be different from what the $66% value in the report. But what they've done is actually taken the total cost of the program, knowing that it's been running at a deficit for 350,000 a year, and then determining the rate based on what the actual needs are, whether or not they started at 0 or $2 or $3. That's where these numbers in your resolution come from.
But yeah, we're just doing
Right.
chicken scratch based on what people are saying.
Table this.
Well, if the deficit's been 300 or 400,000 a year and the revenue's been about 1.5 million a year, then arguably your rate increase should be a minimum of about 30%
Right,
to
but
bring the
So-
fund into the black.
Right. It absolutely
So
will.
what I'm saying is, you had a minimal increase this year. That's why you're waiting for everything else to catch up to it. And you want
We-
a larger increase next year.
Mhm.
We looked at that in the facility plan though, but the number was 2 million instead of 1 million as a starting point.
So, I mean, you're throwing out loss numbers for the sewer fund, but I actually don't have financials supporting the numbers that you are utilizing tonight. So again, for me to be able to make a smart decision, I trust, but I like to verify. That's why I'm asking for the support behind the 66% in this report. I'm also asking for projections if we did a 10% increase, 20, 30, 40, what it would look like and what the impact would be. I don't even know that increasing it to this dollar amount, do we know the total cash infusion that's going to bring to the sewer fund? And what that's going to look like at the end of next year if these bills go out in September? Do we know what the actual impact's going to be hypothetically?
We can,
Yeah, is that the 86,000 number?
expected.
No,
Is
no,
it half?
no, yeah, I'm talking about all users
Yes,
and what that's gonna do to our sewer
Half-
fund for next
half a
year.
million?
so that's based on. So it'd be around 280,000.
280,000. Yep.
Monique,
From
the
this year?
280,000, that's residential, and commercial, right?
Right.
The 86,000 number that you gave us was residential.
Just residential, it was a basic, quick, just going through and trying to. Yeah. So I was-
No, you can't. I mean, because you don't know how people are gonna use and, you
Right.
know, what the Kent County water bill is gonna be and all that good stuff.
Based on 66% that are expected to be 566,029, but they're saying now it's doing.
32, yeah. Right. That makes sense to me. But again, I really wish we got some of this financial information before the meeting tonight, because I think all I got was the meeting minutes and the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a very large decision to make on zero data.
This is gonna go from
The-
the town council.
Yes.
So we just recommending it to the town council. Because
That is correct.
town council
That's correct.
have data from the town council to get that by then.
When is the next meeting?
The 22nd, and then there's also one on the 23rd, I believe,
22nd of
It
August?
should, I would say just 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah, I think, yes.
and
Would
it-
you be
and
able to
We
send
would
me
have
out
to have it a couple days earlier in order to make the
To file
agenda.
it, yes. What would be really helpful is in a memo format with all the information I've scribbled down that you guys have said verbally. And then you'll have to be able to explain to the council why we have a resolution that says 66%, but you're really saying 30, like all of that needs to be, it sounds like
I-
there needs to be revisions to this resolution. Kind of.
Yes,
Absolutely,
I
and
think
there's a separate resolution for the council that we can adjust according to whatever their financial data is.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
The resolution,
That's the thing. We might actually get closer.
How does that work?
That's still
You know?
litigation,
Right.
yeah.
the
They're arguing about the.
the
amount.
resolution, sorry, the resolution does not say percentages, it gives values, but
Mm-hmm.
it does list 80% of the water meter reading, and I think that should be adjusted,
No,
say,
it's. That's been correct.
What?
We're going forward. Based on it's correct.
but it's 80, but you're multiplying 80% times the rate.
Not That was- So
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay. Okay.
So as
this-
of
this-
today, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, I believe, member Lima had brought it up, but like, I would like to see a chart, if you have, if your bill is currently $400, it's gonna jump to $500. If it's currently, right, but again, it's not in front of us tonight, and I would be able to share it with my constituents before I voted on it at the town council level. I need that data to be able to vote on this. So I can't vote on this tonight, but I will ask if there's a motion to approve the resolution as it currently stands, which would be a 32% increase. I don't know if do I have a motion?
I would make a motion to increase it to 32% increase based on the town council getting the proper documentation on how they got to the bill. And that if the town council.
Contingent upon.
Okay. Is there a second?
I would say.
All right. Any discussion?
So basically the motion is just saying, yeah, sure, we recognize a rate increase needs to happen, but we need we need amended and more information.
It's essentially voting on 32% without having any support for it,
Just,
other than a report from Raptels.
just so we're not wasting time. So if you guys do get the back and you agree to the 32%, and so we have to do this all over. Right, 'cause I don't think it's gonna be less than 32.
It could be zero. That's what they've done historically. So, right, but we don't even know what that impact would be.
That's coming, so that's the problem.
Understood. But again, I would like to see hypotheticals if we did 10, 20, 30. And actually have financial statements for the sewer fund before I vote on this. But I will, any other discussion?
And caveat, if you do.
The only thing I would say, Mr. Chairman, is taking the 32 and you carry that forward, you get the million, and the rates are just not 20% next year. Let's say it's 10, but now you're 10 million is going to wipe out that 10% increase next year, and it could carry forward further.
Understood.
I think it's a way for the town to be able, like I said, for us to do something to move forward, it's not stagnant for a couple months and get the bills out. So
I think it's worth noting, though, that the town council can still vote on a rate increase next week, whether or not a resolution is passed from the subcommittee, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So we don't technically need it,
We
but
don't.
the discussion here and recommendation.
Because you're advisory,
Yeah.
you know, the rest of the council is going to appreciate your opinions on it, but it,
Ultimately, it's the sewer commission's determination and authority to vote on it.
Yeah, I just get nervous because while I hear it sounds like it's an effort to make a contingent motion, it's still basically approving a rate increase against what it sounds like we're all in agreement. There needs to be more information.
And we haven't asked Mr. Sabetti if he could supply us the information we need by the
Yeah.
town council meeting either.
Yeah,
Which
so
we
so,
need his
so
information.
you would be making,
I
just to be clear, you're making a recommendation to the town council, because the town council has the approval authority.
Correct.
yeah, so I respect them. I respect the motion in second, but I just get nervous about being tied to it being technically us approving a rate increase when we're trying not to do that
Agreed.
without certain information.
All right. So I will do a roll call vote. Tony Reposo,
Yes.
Michael Sakosha,
Yes.
Hillary Lima.
No.
James LeBlanc, no. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, report of town offices officials, a status update on Coventry High School on-site wastewater treatment system. Ms. Broadbent, are you reporting on this?
I'm not sure if I'm the one to report on it or, yeah, any one of us. So at this point, we're looking at various options for, improving the system over there, including really looking at the financing of it. That's sort of the big piece right now. They're still paying $2,000, going to be paying $2,000 a day.
Can we
to
just
pump it
back
out.
up? Does this group even know the beginning of this issue? Have you guys heard about this at all? You have? Okay.
You have not? Can you just give a little background?
Yeah, happy to. So the high school has an on-site wastewater treatment system that was installed maybe in the 70s. Yeah, 1973, and it's virtually only functioning as like a holding tank, and then the effluent that's off the top of that is sprayed into a sand filter, but the mechanics and the major components of that system have not been maintained and have not worked in years. So it's not a functioning, viable treatment system. So it is literally a truck is going and pumping it out every day and hauling the wastewater away. So what have been doing is looking at the options for constructing a system so that we can tie the high school into the sewer system And the price tag for that is about 2.4 million or so. And then we've been looking at options, including congressional earmarks and other things, so that we can get the system designed, which will take some time. There's a lot of surveying that needs to be done, all of that sort of work, and construction will take some time. And I'm going to defer to Laura because she's got more, nitty gritty details than I did.
So there were 4 alternatives that were investigated. Alternative number 1 is what we're recommending because it has a long-term impact for the town. It's an investment in your future sewer infrastructure. Alternative 1 involves extending the gravity sewer west on Tyoke Ave and then north along Reservoir Road to the high school's driveway. The opinion and cost for that is 4.22 million. There's a possible 4.22, and there's
Your
a
ears did not
possible
deceive you.
there's a possible congressionally directed spending grant at I believe it's 3.65 million or 3.25. It's 3.25 million in grant monies that have been earmarked. The town's match to that would have to be $650,000. And I believe the school department bond referendum, there might be $1 million coming from that. And that
1.2.
1.2, and that money could be put towards that earmark from the town's side. So that's what we're recommending because it has impact for your future sewer infrastructure. Alternatives 2, 3, and 4 involved, number 2 involved installing an equalization tank and a pump station, and then conveying a force main into the existing force main that resides on Reservoir Road. It's a private force main. We're not sure what the status of that force main is, and the costs were about 2.5 million for that alternative, but there's no.
And that one would only be useful for the high school. There would be no real expansion of our system or future benefit other than the school itself.
Right.
Is this the old Asselon line?
Yes.
Mhm. Correct.
The
town-
6-inch.
The town owns now?
No,
Town does not.
the
own it.
town owns the 10-inch line on Tyoke Ave, but not the 6-inch line on Reservoir Road. Alternatives 3 and 4 involved installing new treatment systems, whether they were passive or active treatment systems on the high school property, and then rebuilding the groundwater discharge field. And those were on the order of $5 and $6 million because of the amount of wastewater. It's the high school capacity per DEM standards is 37,500 gallons per day of flow. So that sheer size of that system is cost prohibitive.
In regards to the numbers that you're proposing, do these also take into consideration daily pumping that's going on for a certain period of time?
Nope.
The
Or
daily
that's
pumping
above
is
and
being
Above
paid
and
by the
beyond.
school department. Above
That's
and
out
beyond.
for our.
Well, we're
And because it's summer, we aren't pumping every single day.
Right.
When,
There's
yeah,
no-
exactly.
But
Just wanted to call that out for anybody listening here.
Yeah, we're pumping twice a week at the summer level.
During the school year, you're pumping every day.
Mhm.
I have to, and $2,000 a day
Per truck.
per truckload. So in the school year, we're filling a truck.
Now, the catch is the congressionally directed spending from Reed's office. We cannot access that until 2025.
Mhm.
So, but the other part is, where's the money gonna come from? Aside from that, say we choose not to wait for that grant that's supposed to go to this project. We haven't identified where the rest of the money's gonna come from. to pay
So
for this.
that,
And 1.2 is tied to the school bond. The
And that
school
has to
bond would have to
pass.
pass, which I currently don't know if that's going to pass or not. So you
So
can't
the-
rely on that 1.2. So if you can't rely on the congressional spending of 3.25 and you can't rely on the bond 1.2 yet, we don't know where the money's going to come
What's the
from.
capacity of that 6-inch line that's not, that's technically not us, even though it goes into our system? Let me
It-
ask that question.
it should handle that small development back there has its own pump station and a 6-inch force main, as long as the pressures are adequate
So.
and you're
I guess-
not overwhelming one pump
Let me
station.
rephrase the question, I guess. Let's just say we had a pumping station at the high school for the temporarily until we get this figured out. We pumped into that line,
Well,
but with the pumping station acted as a holding tank for the day. People, most of the usage that happens out of the trailer park is probably 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. Let's just say on average. What happens if you pump from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning on that line? It's not really getting used.
that's what this $2.5 million number is
So
based
was
on.
that would just be a Band-Aid while the rest of this gets configured?
That would be, that would be a long-term solution for the high school, but only for the high school.
Because the high school is a part of planning areas 1 and 2 in the sewer
Right.
facility plan. So if you make this investment up front now, it sets you up for when those get done in, was it 2030?
Yes, so option number one, alternative number one, the 4.22 million is a gravity sewer extension that others could tie into in the future. And that's part of planning area 2, and that's projected out in the facility plan 20 years. So alternative 2, which is the pump station with the large EQ tank like you're talking about, and then the high school would pump at night when the other property's not pumping. That would only serve the high school parcel. And it does not include the cost of procuring that 6-inch force main by the town and the
How long would it
owner.
take to configure that type of blueprint plans and administration on the 2.5 million?
I think we were
project.
talking 6 to 9 months. It's 6 to 9 months, I think, for the time frame on that. DEM has agreed to expedited review of whatever design plans we come up with.
But your timing is still considering an expedited review.
Well,
Bring a pipe by. It'll always be gravity later.
Well, but we've also talked about what is the cost if, say, you just pump until you get that congressionally directed funding? Is it more, is it more money or less money?
Well, it's a continual problem every day.
Oh, it is.
Right, so if you take this number and you add, let's just say you add
But-
$500,000 to it, it's a $3 million project. Once you figure it,
That,
the pumping that's going on and then the blueprint time and everything else.
well, there's a big difference between $1 million out of the town's pocket, say, between pumping and the 600 something match for congressionally directed spend versus us putting that all on our bond
Right.
debt.
But this congressional package, you're talking a couple of years.
Okay.
By the time you get it passed and you put the infrastructure in. that's a lot.
We're
Yeah.
saying, does that cost less than having to put it all on our bond books?
Well, if we're saying it's $750,000 to get a pump times 2, that's 1.5 million. That's where you're at.
I think we need to be careful.
Save the town well, then we would be able to access that 3.25 million rather than it coming out of ARPA or.
Right.
Because we can't redirect those funds. The Congress has officially approved them for this project, and so if we go ahead and just pay for it all with bond money,
We lose that.
we lose that
Right.
money.
Yes, it would cost us $1.5 million, but we also save $3 million.
And you'd be making a decision for the future that probably is a lot more
Either way,
responsible.
though.
Yeah,
Either way,
know,
you're making this.
because what
But I
happens
mean, a line that you can add more homes to, or
with that 2 million and change solution he's talking about, what do you do with that infrastructure afterwards? Because you don't need that pump
Right.
anymore once it
Mhm.
turns into sewer. So now we've spent money and we take it out when it's time to convert it with,
and it's
planning
another thing that might not be maintained well.
Very true.
no simple solution.
Right.
Never is. Is there anything else that you want to share on this project?
No, I think we really just wanted to make sure that you knew where we were with it. So I know we've been in discussions with you about the financing of it and the timing of it and that sort of thing, but just to bring the rest of the commission up to speed and where it is.
Yeah, I had said to the town manager if he could check with the Rhode Infrastructure Bank, because they're clamoring for us to spend this 500 and change amount
Correct.
on the blueprint for this particular plan, the 4.2. I had just asked, listen, there's a huge chunk of funding that we don't know if we're going to get until October 3rd. The council would meet on October 8th. Can we just wait and see if this bond gets passed before we commit to blueprinting a plan that we don't know we can fund yet?
Yeah, and Mr. Perlow, I believe, already reached out to them. If he hasn't, he was going to just to make sure that they're aware of the change in the timing. I think Laura may have had something else.
No, I don't think so. I think that if you don't have any other questions, I think that's about it.
Tony, I think this is the first you're hearing of this. So do you have any specific questions?
No, COVID.
No, we still have about 6 million. It could be, but again, if we have 3.25 million coming from the government, we're trying, yeah.
And you can't use COVID money for a federal grant match.
So we wouldn't be able to use the COVID money for that 600 match that, but I think he was saying, can we just use it,
pay it all
pay
now
the
and be
whole thing
done.
now?
Well,
But
then
we
we'd
have-
lose out on the congressional.
And that's
support.
what I was,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was saying to him. So we're trying to spend the money the smartest way possible at the end of the day. But to member Scotia's point, we are paying per day to pump. So it's
And just
a juggle.
as a side note, Mr. Chairman, we did put out to bid the pumping just to see if maybe we came back with a more appealing price for that.
And when's that bidding process
It's
begin? And
it's already out.
Okay.
Director McGee's handling that,
Got
but I think it should be coming back maybe next week.
okay, great. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Agenda item number 9, public subcommittee member comment. Anybody from the public? There is one person on Zoom. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand on Zoom. Going once, going twice. All right. Anybody in council chambers want to make a public comment? Seeing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn at 7:24 p.m.?
So a second.
We have a motion, we have a second. We'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We are adjourned.